Okay, something pretty dramatic has just happened in the silver market, and we need to talk about it. Things are moving incredibly fast, so let's jump right in and unpack what's really going on behind the numbers.
You know, this quote from our source material really says it all, doesn't it? We're not talking about a gentle, predictable climb here. This was a sudden, powerful leap that happened, well, almost overnight. It definitely caught a lot of people off guard.
And here's the number that has everyone talking. Silver shot up to around $95 an ounce. Now, this isn't just another price point on a chart. According to the source, this is a huge psychological threshold. It's the kind of number that makes even the biggest skeptics sit up and pay very, very close attention.
So why does this specific surge matter so much? Well, a move this big and this fast is usually a signal that something much larger is shifting under the surface, not just for silver, but across the entire precious metals market.
So, what's actually causing this? What's the engine behind this move? Our source material points to what you could call a perfect storm, a powerful combination of three distinct forces all hitting at the same time. Let's break those down. First up, you have good old-fashioned fear. With all the geopolitical uncertainty in the world, investors are naturally looking for safe places to park their money. Second, there's what the source calls monetary reality. That's a bit of a fancy term, but it really just means that inflation is chewing away at the value of our cash, which makes hard assets look a lot more attractive. And third, and this is a big one, utility. Silver isn't just something shiny to store in a vault. It's absolutely essential for industry. Think solar panels, all our electronics, and even critical defense technology. When you put those three together, well, you get some serious upward pressure.
But you know, the $95 price tag isn't even the most interesting part of the story. Our source points to what it calls the hidden headline. And this is a really important structural shift in the market that tells us a lot about how silver is valued compared to gold.
And this right here shows you everything you need to know. For about 15 long years, it has consistently taken more than 50 ounces of silver to buy just 1 ounce of gold. But look at today. For the first time in all those years, that ratio has finally broken. It now takes less than 50 ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold. That is a massive signal that the value of silver is strengthening in a really fundamental way.
By the way, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, it'll be a huge help to us if you take just a second to click that like button and subscribe. That way you won't miss any of our future updates.
Okay, let's shift gears from the numbers you see on a screen to what's happening in the real world, in the physical market. Because this price surge isn't just a paper phenomenon. We're seeing some very real reactions that could be pointing to a supply squeeze. Our source highlights a couple of key things here. First, government mints are scrambling to reprice their collectible silver coins, and get this, some of them now carry an implied value of over $150 an ounce. And second, some of the biggest dealers out there are suddenly putting minimums on online orders. Why? Well, they're citing huge demand and shipping backlogs. Believe me, these are not normal everyday business adjustments. These are clear signs that the market is under some serious stress.
This quote from the source just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. When it suddenly becomes harder to buy something, it's almost always a defensive move. The sellers aren't trying to turn you away, they're trying to control their inventory and manage the chaos because demand is overwhelming them. It's a classic sign that supply is getting tight.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, which our source suggests could be a real wild card. This is a look into the future, at a potential policy shift that could change the entire game for how silver is valued.
The core idea here is this concept of a price floor. Our source is pointing out that for the first time there's real talk in policy circles about treating silver as a critical strategic mineral. What that could mean is a government-supported minimum price to make sure silver is always available for vital national needs like defense and energy independence. Now, this isn't official policy yet, not even close, but the fact that this is even part of the conversation is a massive development.
So, all of this leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. Are we just watching another short-term market frenzy that's going to burn itself out? Or, as the evidence seems to suggest, could we be witnessing a much more permanent shift, where the days of what we used to call cheap silver are well and truly over? It's definitely something to consider.